What lane are you in currently in your property business? Today, we're going to focus on making sure that you put yourself into the fast lane. Hello, my name is Mark Fitzgerald and welcome to the Property Unleashed. It's great to have you joining me here today. So today, if you're starting in property or you're starting a property business or you already have, maybe it's in rent-to-rent strategies, PLOs, maybe you're looking at buy and refurbishment. Whatever it is, I always think when you get involved in property, you should look to structure it as a business. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, make sure you put processes and systems in place, that you systemize the business itself so that potentially you could sell it in the future, or you can use it obviously as your retirement. You can obviously, of course, do property as a hobby as well. But I like to systemize things. I like to build businesses, and property is a fantastic platform to be able to do so. But I do think there's fundamentals that you need to follow as well. Now, there's a fantastic book out there called The Millionaire Fast Lane, and that is very much about building up your finances, making sure that if you want to be a multimillionaire, you set yourself up right from the beginning to put yourself in the fast lane. But I also think that we need to make sure that we're doing without skipping the gears, so to speak. And what do I mean by this? Well, when we're starting out, maybe we're reading, maybe we're watching YouTube videos, maybe we're listening to podcasts. It's very easy to get caught up and just try and jump straight into the fast lane of doing things, of trying to make action happening. And I see more and more people fail because they want to be in that fast lane now. Right here, right now. We're all used to getting what we want straight away. We're all used to getting rewards, to getting things, we can order stuff and have it the same day delivery. And that's what we think will happen in our businesses and in our lives and in our finances as well. It's not the case. You've got to go through the gears. You've got to go through the lanes. Now, if you think of a British motorway, now a lot of those now have 4 or 5 lanes, but fundamentally, all the motorways that years ago used to basically have 3 lanes, okay? So you have the slow lane. We class it as a slow lane. That's the left-hand side lane. And then you have the middle lane where, you're starting to gather pace. Normally, you're just passing, the lorries and the slower vehicles. And then, of course, you have the fast lane. And a lot of people want to get into that fast lane and just stay there. And that's not the right thing to do. Even if you're driving on the British highways today and on the motorways and stuff, it's not the right thing to do. It's to stay in that lane and to not move yourself forward in any direction. Because if you stay in that lane, chances are you could get yourself a speeding ticket. Even worse, you could get banned. Now, why am I using all these driving metaphors? Because in your business, you are basically in the slow lane, or maybe you're even on a hard shoulder, as we call it. Just trying to educate yourself, just trying to find out what it is you want to do. Okay. And it's very, very important to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want to do so that you can go out there and perform. Because if you're thinking to yourself, I want to be a deal sourcer, I'm going to start a big deal sourcing company. Why? Because I've seen somebody else do it and it looks like it's quite easy to do. And I can sell deals on and I can make money and I can start building my own portfolio. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But make sure it's what you are passionate about and you want to do, and you're going to do it in the right manner and stick with it. And remember, there is no get rich quick schemes here at all. You can get very wealthy and you can get rich over time, but there's no such thing as starting a rent-to-rent business, a deal sourcing business, and all of a sudden you're going to be making 6 figures. You may over 12 months be able to do that, but just remember, you're not going to do it in a couple of days, couple of weeks, or even probably a couple of months, okay? It does take time to build up, as same with any business. So you start in the slow lane and you want to be hammering it down in that fast lane in your business as quickly as possible, but you can't skip the middle lane. And I see so many people now trying to just, educate themselves, get out there, and they skip the middle lane. They try and get straight to the fast lane. And before they know it, they've crashed. They've either crashed or they've run out of fuel, in which case they've burnt themselves out and they're struggling. They're demoralized, they're unmotivated, and they give up. And then they look for the next, best investment, best hack, best trick. Why? Because they can't stay the course, because they haven't gone through the lanes. They haven't actually done the procedures that you need. In my training, when I show people and I help people or I coach people, it's all about building momentum up. It's all about, first of all, getting the vehicle, the business, the idea, moving, getting the cogs turning, so to speak. I like to think of it as a flywheel. Flywheels can be really, really big and massive, and it takes so much energy and so much force to get them moving. But once they actually start to turn, it gets easier and easier, and it can go faster and faster. And then by that time, once you build up that momentum, and that can, again, like I say, can take months, can take years, depending on what you're trying to do or where you want to get to. But staying consistent and persistent, turning that flywheel, taking the right steps, doing the right things, being consistent and persistent in your approach will get you the results that you want. And I'm living proof of that. I started my rent-to-rent business, and it didn't all go to plan. That's for sure. But I did deals. I did good deals. I did some bad deals at the end of the day. But I lived and learned. And now this is why when I help and support people, I try to eliminate for them the bad deals and just make sure that we're doing good deals. Sometimes the first deals you do will never be the best deals that you're going to do. But why? And you could say, why is that? Well, that's because at the end of the day, you get better. As you're going along, you get better all the time. So focus on that it's going to take time. Focus on that you need to get going. You need to start moving. You need to start getting down the slow lane. And this is what I show people in my training, is once you've got the knowledge, you know the steps to take, you can start taking those steps, you can move into the middle lane. Then you're out there, you're doing viewings, you're talking to people, you're building up momentum. People are getting to know you in your area. You're becoming the property professional for what it is you want to do. And that is where you will start gathering even more momentum. And then, of course, as you start getting deals, as you start getting properties on board and whatever strategy you're trying to do, even if you're deal sourcing and you're going to pass those properties on and stuff like that, you'll move into the fast lane before you know it. Now, the only thing and the only caveat I do say to that is you have to recognize when you're really, really busy and you're doing everything, it cannot last forever. In the sense that if you're wearing all the hats and you're doing all the running around, and even in the beginning when we love it because it's our business, it's our baby, and maybe we're doing this alongside a full-time job, you will eventually become burnt out. I'll tell you that for a fact because it's so hard, particularly when you're starting out. This is why I train and teach people to do things as a business, because you want to be putting systems in place as early as possible. You want to be building out training so that you can hand certain aspects of your business to either a virtual assistant, a PA, just somebody that you want to work with, and anybody like that. So if you're going to be getting properties on and you want agents to manage them for you, make sure that you know how you want your agents to manage these and you pick the right agents to suit what your needs are. But if you're going to have a virtual assistant who's maybe going to do data scraping for you, or maybe follow up for you, or whatever it is you want to do in your business, start putting those processes and systems, easy for me to say, in position as quickly as possible. Because when you're in that fast lane and you're bringing on deals and you're doing deals and you're building up your business and it's all fun and it's all great, it is still very, very easy to burn yourself out, and you cannot stay in a fast lane forever. So by building in the systems and the processes, you'll actually be able to move over into the middle lane where it's a lot less busy. It's, you're not on tender hooks all the time. You're not so intense because you're going a bit quicker. And I'm not talking about speeding. Don't go down the motorways now and start speeding because Mark says, I got to get in the fast lane and I got to start speeding. But at the end, you know what I'm saying here. You really want your business, a sustainable, good built business will last a hell of a lot longer driving down the slow lane, driving down the middle lane and staying in the middle lane, so to speak. Although I hate people who stay on the motorway in the middle lane when there's nothing there. But that's another debate. But staying in the middle lane with your business, then it will be staying in a fast lane. And then what you've got is you've got the gears to go through. So sometimes you'll say to yourself, I want to just slow things down a bit. Maybe I want a bit of time off. Maybe I want to spend time with the family, have a few holidays. Slow lane it is. But I still know that my business can maintain itself in the middle lane without me. That is when you found a real, real special place. And then when you actually come back into the business that's already trundling down the middle lane very comfortably, bringing in the deals, bringing in the cash flow that you want, every now and again, it's nice to just get out into that fast lane, ramp things up a bit, knowing full well that you're going to put it back into the middle lane when you can. So I like to keep things stupid simple, that is why I love the book, The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. Fantastic book. So worth checking out, worth reading. I believe on Kindle, it's actually a part of the Kindle subscription. So, or it used to be when I first read it, but I bought a physical copy as well, because he talks more about finances and obviously growth and becoming multi-millionaires. But I do believe a lot of people, particularly people that watch this channel, maybe are still starting out or just got started and are pushing forward. And it's all about taking it through the gears, step by step, not trying to overcommit to anything straight away. Find the one thing it is you want to do. So if you are dead set on deal sourcing, go and deal source. Brilliant, absolutely phenomenal. If you want to start a rent-to-rent business, now whether that's with HMOs or whether that's with serviced accommodation, know which one you want to do and go out there and nail it. And that was the one thing that was said to me, Mark, when I started out. Find that one thing that you want to do. It might not be your major passion, but you've got to enjoy it. You've got to want to do it, and you've got to want to stick with it and think to yourself, if 6 months goes past, even if 12 months, worst case scenario is 12 months goes past and I still haven't done or achieved what I'm trying to achieve, will I stick with what I'm doing? i.e. that strategy. Maybe what you're doing is a little bit off, a little bit wrong. Maybe it's just not working for you, in which case then it's great to be in an environment, which is what we do on the Rent to Rent Business Builder and the Ultimate Serviced Accommodation training. We put you in an environment, we give you all the steps to follow, and all you have to do is trust the process. You just need to keep taking those steps, to keep taking those actions, and you will get results. And you might say to yourself, well, everybody's doing it. Well, everybody is doing it, but they're not you. And that is why in my trainings, I teach you how to be different from everybody else. I teach you how to be a cut above the rest, how to build a property business, not just go out there, find a couple of deals, and then run around like a headless chicken trying to sort them out. I had that at the beginning because I was never shown how to systemize it and make it into a business. And that's, of course, what we do. Now, if you're finding any of these videos or podcasts helpful, if you visit thepropertyunleashed.com, we have a 10-step rent-to-rent guide. We have a 10-step serviced accommodation guide. We have a deal analyzing spreadsheet, and we're adding stuff there all the time. We're going to have some refurbishment downloads as well to help you if you're looking at doing refurbishments and things like that. We're going to have some purchase lease option stuff. So always check back, because there's always new downloads and things going there. And if you do want to join the newsletter and you don't get spammed or anything like that, we just send a newsletter out each week, which basically gives my tips and tricks of what I'm doing and how it can help you and how you may be able to incorporate it into your property business. And of course, what's coming out on YouTube, that we have the Property Unleashed YouTube channel, and of course the Property Unleashed podcast, which has 2 episodes that come out each week. So I hope this has made sense to you. I hope you've got an understanding that, you may be sat in a hard shoulder at the moment, twiddling your thumbs, thinking, I'm not sure what I want to do. Don't rush it. We're always in such a rush. When you get in the fast lane, you'll be in a rush. But don't go and rush into the fast lane if you don't completely know what it is that you want to be doing, what you want to be rushing towards. And of course, if you're trying to get anywhere, your destination is so important. You need to have the end in mind. What do I want to build? What do I want to grow? And why do I want to do it? And make sure, as I always say, that reason is bigger than financial gain or yourself. Make it a bigger, a higher purpose if you can. If it is financial gain, or it is just because it's something you want to do, that's fine. But just make sure it really means something to you. For me, it was to show my children, to show my sons what could be achieved if they put their mind to it, what they can do as they're growing up and they can see their dad do it. And you read all of these books, my dad was a bit of an entrepreneur. He built a business or so. And then the next book is written by a child or their son and their offspring who's become a multimillionaire or a billionaire because they've taken the sort of concepts that maybe their parents showed you and they've built and they've grown on it, and maybe their kids then, and the cycle could go on. And that's really is my dream, is to make sure that my children can see what I'm doing, but can go out there and absolutely explode, knowing that the opportunities are everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in a full-time job. It doesn't matter if you're a cleaner, sweeping floors, and you think to yourself, I could never do anything for myself. You can. I was my biggest stumbling block. I was my biggest roadblocker. And as soon as I changed my mindset and I got the books, listened to the podcasts, watched the YouTube videos, got out of my own way, realized if other people can do this and do this successfully, then I can too. All I need to do is follow in their footsteps, put myself in the right community. And that's one of the major things that I do in my trainings is I make sure that we are a community. We are a supportive community that once you're in, you're in. You've paid for the training. You've invested in the most important thing in the world to you, which is you. Don't be looking for these next investments, these next Bitcoins, these next, I'll give you 50% returns on your money and all of that. Put that money into yourself. Put that money into your own education and reading the books, listening to the books, learning, growing as a person. The best investment in this world, bar none, is you. Is you. Honestly. Everybody always wants your money. Come and invest in my business. Come and invest in my. It's passive. You don't have to do anything. It's also investing in somebody else. Okay. And that, whilst working with people, is great. First and foremost, you need to be investing in yourself because it's stuff that can never be taken away from you. And once you've done it and you've made a success of it, even if you lost everything, and I say to myself, if I lost everything today, I reckon in about 6 months, I could get myself back to where I am because I know exactly what works. I know exactly what to say now, and I know exactly how to do it. Do the same yourself. Get that knowledge. It's priceless at the end of the day. I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds on my education, and I tell you what, it's come back 20, 50, 60 fold. I've made far more money in the last 3 years working for myself, building property businesses up than I ever made probably in the last 16 years in my corporate job. Okay. It's amazing and it can be done and you can do the same too. But don't skip the gears. Don't skip the lanes. Make sure that you follow the path. Make sure you know what you're doing and invest in yourself if you can. Okay, whether it's a cheap thing or a good thing, try and get yourself onto the good things that people will support and help you and not just give you something and let you go out there and run around on your own because it can be very, very difficult that way. Speed up your own results, invest in yourself, short-term pain, long-term gain. I hope this episode's helped you. And if it has, and you think maybe somebody out there could do with listening to this, maybe hearing this, then feel free to share it. I appreciate it if you do. And if you can leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a like, great as well. Keep focusing on that vision once you've found it. Keep pushing towards the goals each and every day, each and every week. Keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.